Hey everyone. I am coming to you live, no makeup, no filter, no nothing, to chat with you about being your child's expert. And I know that there are a lot of new followers, and first of all, welcome. And so I want to share with you a little bit about how this whole mainly Montessori thing started, because I want to give you a sense of what you're going to find here and how we can walk together through this homeschooling path or parenting path or whatever your relationship is to the children in your life, how we can do this together. So I was a Montessori guide for many, many years in classrooms, first primary, then elementary. And then I quit my job halfway through the school year to start homeschooling my children. And that was, I don't know, 2.5, 3.5 years ago. I don't even know anymore. But what I do know was that for a long time, before I even quit my job, one day I decided to start a free Facebook group, just focusing on the second plane of Montessori. So second plane is children ages 6 to 12. And the reason that I started it was because I couldn't find a lot of information on Facebook, on social media about the second plane of development. And a lot of people had this misconception that Montessori was only for the first plane. And so what I did was I just started a simple Facebook group. And I didn't discriminate. It was AMI, AMS, people with training, people without training. I welcomed traditional school teachers who wanted to learn more about Montessori. We had a few homeschooling parents in there. We had a lot of trained and experienced guides who became kind of the cornerstone of that group and really offered amazing insights. We had a lot of parents who had kids in Montessori schools, tons of parents. And the group started kind of growing gradually, slowly, but surely. And then, boom, lockdown hit, right? And so my life personally wasn't really affected in the sense that, my kids and I were already homeschooling. We had our routine. Yeah, sure. We couldn't go to our classes anymore. We couldn't do our little play groups for a while anymore. But our structure, our life wasn't really affected. But I started getting messages, like tons and tons of messages from people in my Facebook group saying, oh my gosh, we are in such a pickle. Our children were going to a Montessori school. We love Montessori. It is so great for our children. They're in elementary Montessori classrooms, and now they're all shut down. And we want to continue doing Montessori for the elementary years, but at home. And we have no idea how to do it. We want to homeschool. We don't know how. Please help us. And so that's when I realized. So I was stuck in a really kind of difficult place emotionally during lockdown because, a lot of what I was seeing in the news wasn't making sense. There was a lot of kind of loose ends, questions that weren't being answered, and I was really frustrated. And so eventually what I decided to do was to channel this frustration and create something for people who needed help. And so I basically figured out how to create a membership. I had no idea. I am not tech savvy at all. I had no idea how to create a membership, but I figured it out. I just kind of went online and I found a platform and I learned how to do it. And I told people, look, I'm starting a membership. I have no content, absolutely no content. I had a blog for many, many years, and that's how a lot of people found me, but I had no video content. And I actually hated talking on video. I'm a writer. I love to write. I really don't like to talk on video. I'm getting better at it, but still a struggle. But this was how I could connect with people who were stuck at home, right? And who needed content, who needed information, and they needed it now. And they needed information that was relevant to what they were going through. And fortunately, I had gone through, like a year and a half earlier, I had gone through the whole transition into homeschooling. And so I knew what it was like, even though I had, background as a teacher and everything. Transitioning into homeschool sucks. It's really hard, right? All of a sudden you are stuck at home with your kids. You're solely responsible for their education and you don't even know where to start. There's a lot of pushback because they're adjusting. So it's a huge struggle. And then throw in a pandemic and, you can imagine how stressed out people were. So I digress. I started this platform and I told people, look, I'm going to start a membership. I'm going to charge a nominal fee to just, support my work and my expenses. And I'm going to put out one video a week because that's really all that I can do, what with homeschooling my kids and trying to keep the house running and, trying not to kill my husband while we were, all stuck in one tiny little condo. So that's what I did. I started putting one video. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm back, I think. Okay. Anyway, so they would tell me what they were struggling with. And so that week I would create a video based on their struggles and then I would put it out there. And then the next week it would repeat. They would tell me what was going on in their lives and then I would create another video. And so that went on, month after month after month. And the hub just kind of came into being. It formed. And then at a certain point, I didn't start out to create the timeline that I now have. People started telling me like, look, there are albums out there. There are resources that we can purchase, but nothing makes sense to us because everything was created for teachers. And so there's nothing that we can really see that will help us understand where our children is and how we can move them to where we need to take them. And so I just kind of over a weekend, I went into like crazy mad scientist mode and I just, created this whole timeline first on the walls of my bedroom and then eventually on the computer and created the timeline. And so what I want to share with you is that I was not an expert at creating memberships. I was not an expert at social media. God knows I'm still not. I was not an expert at leading people. I mean, I work with children, right? I am a guide for children. I am not a leader of adults. I am just a parent and a former teacher and somebody that tries things, somebody that just kind of throws themselves into the arena. And what really strikes me about where we are right now in the world is that so many people feel like they cannot be a homeschooler or they cannot be the person that can guide their child through ADHD or through dysgraphia or through any other struggle because they're not an expert, right? Even like things like helping your child heal. Yes, we need guides and we need mentors and we need people to help broaden our perspectives, but we know a lot more than we think we do. Okay? This knowledge, this wisdom is being stolen from us by the narrative that says that you need to look outwards, that you need to look to other people, not to guide you, but to tell you what to do. And then you need to follow them and you need to put like all of your trust in them. And the reality is that you need to put your trust in yourself. Because if you trust yourself, then you will start to trust your child. And when that happens, then you will become the expert on your child and you will be in the most amazing position to have a wonderful relationship with them and to help them get to where they need to go physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I really struggle with the label expert, Montessori expert. I've never liked that. I've had teachers. I've had the most amazing mentors, the most amazing teachers, but I've always taken as gifts from them what I needed without putting the burden of the expert label on them, without putting them on a pedestal. And I want to ask you to do that too. Please don't put me on a pedestal. I am not an expert in the modern sense of the word, but I'm an expert in the where the root of the word expert comes from. And you are an expert too, where this root word expert comes from. And I looked it up in the dictionary, and expert comes from the Latin, and it means to try. Okay, I'm going to say that again. The word expert comes from the Latin, and it means to try, right? If you think about experiment, right? You don't go into an experiment knowing what's going to happen. You go into an experiment willing to try, willing to learn new things, willing to discover, willing to question, and to even be surprised by the outcome, and be okay if the outcome isn't what you thought it was going to be. That is an experiment, and that is the attitude that we need to bring to homeschooling, to parenting, to our marriage, to our health, because that is how we're going to learn to trust ourselves. And again, when you're able to trust yourself, then you walk in a place of certainty, right? Of feeling more assured. And that certainty gives your child safety. And when your child feels safe, then that's when they start to flourish. So again, just to conclude this, I'm not saying don't look outwardly. Yes, I mean, there are amazing mentors. Everybody has different ideas, different life experiences. People have experimented with different ways of doing things. But you need to check with your gut what resonates with you. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Leave it without shaming, leave it without pointing fingers. And if people say things that don't align with what your life is right now, with what your reality is, or with what your goals are, put that aside. It's not for you. Don't spend your energy getting flustered and getting stuck on those things that are not for you, right? The people that do things like I do, just sharing knowledge, sharing experience, we share a lot of things, and some of the things might work for you, some of the things might not. Those of you who've known me for a while and who've kind of followed my blog and everything, you know that I try things, and some things work, some things don't. I will say things, I will kind of suggest things, and then 3 months later I'll be like, oh, actually, I've been working on this and I've been refining it, and so now I'm going to suggest something new. And so I want to invite you to take that as well. We've all been educated, if we were educated in the traditional school system, we've all been educated to not question, to not change, to not look for more than one answer. Okay? And this is not a multiple choice test. There's no one right answer. Okay? You get to pick the answer that is right for you. I am here to share tons of information with you and share what works in my life, what aligns with my experiences, with my spirit, and with my way of looking at the world. And you are here to take what works for you and to leave the rest. And I hope that you will take what I'm sharing as a gift, because that's how I try to give it. So I look forward to continuing to get to know you. And welcome to, if you're new here, welcome to this quirky little place in the internet, little corner of the internet where you might not always agree with everything I say, but I hope that it gives you something to chew on, and feel free to have a dialogue, because that is how we all grow and learn from each other. Take care. Have a beautiful evening or morning or wherever it is that you are. Take care. Bye.